Hey, everybody. Be with you in a second. All right. Hey, everybody. Wow, it's 8 of you already sitting here. Uh, as I wrote, welcome to Rick Snider's Washington. And for the algorithm, I have to say, um, so please, I don't remember. I have to do it straight. I don't remember it anymore. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and even hit the thanks button. And the thanks button tonight, all money that you guys send will go to the Southern Maryland Food Bank. So my friends down here can eat. It is hard to believe in this great country that people don't have enough to eat. And so I want to personally say, hit that thanks bunny and for doing the show. I appreciate you doing it. And let's get it to people who can help out. And it's your way of just donating some money there. All right, everybody. Wow, everybody's already ready to go. I guess that's what happens when you win. So hi, Steve and Daniel and Goodwin Chugs. I don't know about kissing me. All right, whatever. My wife might say something there. Ulysses S. Grant. Yeah, I saw you there. Tro Forever is there. I don't understand how the algorithm works either, James, but I just know to do it. And Andy Reid is here. Let me see. Andy, are you here today? Hi, everybody. Yep, Andy's here tonight, too. Yeah, got lucky last night, Andy, on there. For those that don't know the joke, everybody thinks I look like him. Steve hits $10. Thank you, Steve. That'll pay for somebody's turkey dinner. You know, I'm a big fundraiser for food banks, and because I just can't imagine people not having something to eat. So all this money is tonight. I'm just doing the show for free, and money can go over there to help them. Vikings still Super Bowl contenders. Ask Goodwin. Hey, everybody can have a bad day. 40-3. Wow, I didn't get to see any of the game, but wow, that was surprising on all there. So, all right. So, for anybody new here, I do this every Monday usually, talking Varsity Commanders or anything else you want to talk about. It's an hour just to hang out and have some fun. Ulysses asked, "I'm an NBA fan. Limited. I watch the Wiz some. I like college basketball more than pro. Versus, I like pro football much more than college football. Although college football is really pro football. Yeah, I guess so. You could say the same about college basketball too. So, Daniel, let's see. I'm glad you're watching us. I appreciate all that. Goodland asked, "Do I have a wife?" Yeah. Matter of fact, that's her picture right behind. I have the prettiest Mrs. Snider in Washington, unlike the other guy. Well, she's pretty too, but I have the prettiest Mrs. Snider in Washington. We've been married 42 years. All right, let's see. Don Allen, seems to be more trainers than horse racing getting suspended. Yeah, boy, isn't that funny? I noticed how many of them are. I mean, guess once Baffer got hit, I guess they decided everybody's now going to be looked at. Listen, it's all. I covered horse racing daily for a number of years. Something's caught on my hand, and it was always talk about who's one step ahead of the testers. That's what it's always about. So I guess they're finally getting ahead of them for once. And you don't want to see drug. The danger with horses being drugged is that they'll run through the pain and can die from it. That's why everybody's so big on that. Although here's a weird thing. I once wrote a story about a horse dentist, and I went with them to the barns. And it turns out horses have no nerves in their teeth. So they would just snap them off. So I think of that because last week I had a tooth pulled and I was awake and I was like, oh boy, but it didn't hurt. It was quite surprising. I was ready for war. Did Genevieve that loves me? Thank you. I appreciate it. It's better being hated. I was hated for a long time. Do I hate Dean Smith? Asked Steve Moody. Yes, I hate Dean Smith. Hated him. I mean, dead now. So I always say all grudges end at the grave. But growing up a Maryland fan, yeah, we hated Dean Smith. It was cool to go see the Dean Dome when I was covering ball. I covered ACC twice for several years each. And, going down Tobacco Road is always a really interesting thing to do. All right. So TKO forever. TKO. Oh, okay, I get it. My gut. Duran paying a commander next year. Yes, I say yes. I say they pay him. They should pay him. I think he will be. Justin Gordon, what do you think they do at quarterback next year? Not a lot of good options. Well, I mean, they could keep Taylor. I don't see Wentz coming back. That's 26 million savings off the books. You use that to pay Duran, among other things. And William Jackson's going to be off the books to a degree. So, they're going to have some money next year, and we'll see what owner they have to spend it. Let's see. Thanks, Goodwin. I appreciate your compliment. Daniel, I was bit by a horse when I used to live in Northern Virginia. Well, yeah, aren't we all? I used to work on a horse farm too as a kid. Kick, bit, the big bait. Horses are like children, man. They just like to mess with you. And Mark says, hello, Commanders fans. Hi, Rick. Thank you, Rick. All right, Daniel, you think he'll be a commander? Okay. Let's see, Marcus. Been a while. Any summary on the team? Is the team good? Yeah, I think they're good. I'm not sure they're great, but I think they're definitely better than what we were looking at earlier in September. San Francisco game will be, I think, a really key game. Of course, it's going to be on Christmas Eve at 4 o'clock Eastern. Great. But that could be a big one. Just like 1999, they won that game and won the NFC East on Christmas Eve out in San Francisco again. Can I say a shout out to Connor? All right. Hi, Connor. I don't know who you are, but hey, what's up? Okay, let's see. Dan Snyder's an embarrassment. Should be fine. Goodland's Chug says. I won't disagree with you there. Hi, Mojo. Brendan, any quarterbacks you think might be available this offseason? God, I hope they don't go get another free agent guy. I mean, come on. How many times have we seen this lately? Draft one if you want one. I know this team really likes Sam Howell a lot. And they were going to play him late Sunday in that blowout, and Rivera changed his mind at the end because he decided they were just going to run the ball. So best to just let it go with Taylor. But they were looking to play him in that blowout. So, Sam, I don't know if they go first round anyway. And then if things go like they are, they're going to be playing in the back half of the draft anyway. So I don't see him going veteran though. The ceiling, let's see. Ceiling for the defense, not a lot of weak spots. That's true, Marcus. And I think Pro Bowl voting started today. This team could have several. Marcus, yeah, you're right. It was 99 at Candlestick. I don't remember if it was Steve Young, but I do remember that was when it was. Sean, what do I make of the Giants' loss to Detroit? Yeah, that was interesting. I don't think the Giants are as good as 7-3. I think they'll finish like 10 wins. I think they were decent, but I don't think they're great. TKO, will they take a look at Hendon Hooker? I have probably because the team's not attention, so there's no reason to at the moment. Something else to look at. I'll get to the draft in January. Daniel, let's see, Christmas Eve game perfect for Taylor Heineke to say it's Taylor time instead of Turbo time. Aren't you the funny one? Leave the professional humor to some of us. My best joke I snapped off on Grant and Danny's show the other day. Grant's asking me about Christmas cookies. We always debate cookies. And he said, do you like them? I said, listen, every time I bite the head off a gingerbread man, an angel gets its wings. That's the professional joke. All right. Joel thinks that Rivera saved his job for next season. I would agree with that. I don't see anything changes. And should they sell the team in the spring, it'll be too late to make changes anyway. So I think he's got another year. Sam is the quarterback of the future, says Mojo. I think he's got a chance. I only saw him in the off-season camps and preseason camps, and I think he's got some real potential. Goodlands, remind me of a guy at a butcher shop that's helpful with the heat, bringing out different beef jerky for you to try. Ooh, beef jerky. Have I ever been to Western Wisconsin? I've been to Green Bay. That's about it. Appleton. Other than that, I've been to Madison. I covered a Maryland-Wisconsin basketball game. That's it. That's all I've been to Wisconsin, whatever parts those are. They were all cold. I did 22 below in Green Bay. I'm never going back for that. What do I remember about the vibes in D.C. when Snider burst bought the team in 99? Asked Justin. Yeah, I covered that sale. And, everybody was optimistic. I mean, because Cook had been dead by then a couple of years. They were just looking to see, and he was a fan and all this. Listen, I could tell you very quickly that this wasn't a guy. But nobody wanted to listen to me because everybody said, "Ooh, he's got money and he's going to spend it." And after a few years of that, you all caught up to me. But not the guy who's going to be my next door neighbor. This is my new studio, by the way. I'm finally almost done. I've got the lighting set up so I don't look like dark shadows anymore. So we're getting closer. I got a little more to put behind me on things and rearrange some stuff here. But other than that, let's see. Do I think Wentz is done in Washington after the season? Does Rivera regret the trade? Asked Joe. I think he is done after the season. I'm not sure how Ron feels about it. He hasn't said he's not going to. Renee, keep Sam, rebuild the O-line and linebacker. Well, definitely I would work on the O-line for sure. Interesting that Cornelius Lucas is still starting over Sam Cosmi. I think Cosmi's a guard. I've said that for weeks. So I think that could see a change next year. What's the likelihood of the name changing again with the new owner? Asked John. I'd say doubtful in the short term, but I wouldn't say impossible. Wouldn't you imagine if a guy came back like Bezos who has power and says, it's the Redskins. It's the Redskins. Screw the rest of you. Man, that would be something, wouldn't it? He'd be legendary in this town. 22 below is bad. You got that right about lamb froze, Marcus. Man, place was cold. I've been there on October 1st and it was cold in Green Bay. I don't know how those people do it. Sean says, Curl and Forrest, top 2 graded safeties by PFF. Yeah. I don't know if they're that good normally, but they are good and they're playing well together. I like Forrest. I like to call him the Dark Forest because bad things happen when you wander near the Dark Forest. Ask Hansel and Gretel. What's the statue of wings in the back? That is Gabriel, who's my favorite angel, who's our guardian. All right, Mojo, does this team remind you of the 85 Bears? No. Is Taylor like McMahon? McMahon light, maybe. Doesn't quite have McMahon's arm. But, I said, I wrote a story this past week, 1067 The Fan, Odyssey.com. I wrote that he reminds me the most of Billy Kilmer. Billy Kilmer had like had 11 and 30 or so record for 2 teams, had been badly injured in a car accident. And George Allen traded for him and benched Sonny, and it was a crazy thing. But Billy Kilmer won over 50 games in Washington. So Taylor reminds me a little bit of that. I mean, Billy used to throw dead ducks up in the air all the time. Let's see, good one. Any words of encouragement from my friend Connor? He wants to ask his Julia to be his girlfriend. How should he ask her? Okay, well, I have daughters and granddaughters. So, Connor, you can do it. Just be honest. Don't say any cliches. Just tell her what you think. And if she says no, run away as fast as you can. But if she says yes, you never know. I met my wife when I was 16. So kind of very lucky on that. Best move of my lifetime. So just go in there with an open heart and be nice. Let's see. Marcus Mustard. The Washington football team was a cool, unique name. I know a lot of people really kind of grew to like it. I hated it as a writer because it wouldn't let me use the word a plural sense of they, theirs, that kind of stuff. Had to be it's all the time. Made it harder to write. This guy looks like BTK. I'm not sure who BTK is. Are you talking about Billy Comer? DM7. All right, Justin Gordon would say, does Gibbs have any culpability for turning a blind eye to the toxic culture when he came back for a second stint? Well, he thought he could try to, make things better. He was trying to do the right thing. And Gibbs left because of a couple of things. Sean Taylor's death. He had a grandson who had leukemia at that time. He wanted to be desperately back in North Carolina on there. And unfortunately, Joe lost his second son last week, suddenly. So, I heard it's a tough time for the Gibbs family. And I can only imagine if I lost both of my children, I don't know how you move on from that. So Joe is in my prayers. He's a wonderful man. And don't forget, hit the thanks button. We're going to donate all this money to a food bank. Come on, I know you got money. $2, $5, like they say, it'll help. Doesn't go to me this week. Goes to the food banks. So it's Thanksgiving week. Be glad you got something to eat. Help others. I will personally send this money over to the food bank. And let's help our fellow Americans, and our fellow people. Okay, Michael says BTK is somebody different than I know of. So okay, I'll take your word on that. Let me ask you guys something. Do you like this left hand up thing with the video? I mean, I think it's cool enough. I don't quite get all of it. I'm a little old, but I like things like that are organic, not Madison Avenue created, not something they tell us we should do. It's something the fans want to do. And so for that reason, I really support it. Seems like it's really getting a lot of steam up, with your left hand. I'm not sure why your left hand up versus your right hand. Maybe there's a reasoning behind that, and I don't know. But I think it's kind of cool, and I like that it's the fans do it. So why not? And Julie just says corny. Yeah, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with corny. It's vulgar. There's so much hate in the world. Somebody wants to do something fun, go for it, man. Tinsei Degu says, do I think Jeff Bezos would keep Ron? Well, for the first year at least. And then we'll see. I think Bezos likes to make changes. Kind of a tough guy to work for, too. And so I don't know. Does Ron want to work for Bezos? How much better off would it be if John Cook got the team instead of Dan, asked Mojo. Well, I mean, things are pretty much crashed and burned, so it has to be better. But John Cook didn't really want this team, despite all the talk. He had a chance to take on partners, buy the team, wouldn't do it because he didn't really want it. He wanted a 10% inheritance. That's the truth. I spent my life covering that. I've been talking to different young writers about what it's going to be like to cover a sale. I've done the sale last time. I've survived it. Every day, you're encircled by people screaming at you that the others are lying and they're telling you the truth. And the trick is, every day, who's telling the truth changes. When people start to lose, they think losing the bid, they would call me all the time to try and get intel. Crazy. So I don't wish them well. I'm a columnist now. I get to say what I think, not covering what's going on. All right, Steve says, if I didn't already have the best one, I'd love to get a good Commanders book as a Christmas gift. And I have the only one somewhere around here. It's the one. 100 Things Commanders fans should know and do before they die. It's 100 short stories on the team. 5 of them are about the Commanders or recent times, at least since my last edition came out 8 years ago when it was the 100 Things Redskins book. So you can go to monumentalthoughts.com. That's where I sign them. Or you can go to Amazon and give your money to Bezos, and he'll use it to buy the Commanders. Happy Victory Monday to you too. Slam and Jam in 87. Great team win yesterday. Big home game next week. What do I think the chances are in the game in the playoffs? I think they beat Atlanta, and I think they make the playoffs. I think they make the wild card. All right, what Washington teams had the two-headed running back threat like Gibson and B-Rob? Well, quite a few of them, actually. Not all of them were real good. I think Robinson can play a lot better. Justin said Portis and Betts. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of them overall. Was I impressed with the Redskins Commanders fans in Houston? Joe asked. Yeah, I heard it was like 10,000 or so. And I mean, it looked like FedEx in reverse. Commanders were the invading force, and there was no local fans there. Wow, it's like an alternate universe down there. Only place I never went to in the NFL was Houston. And that's because that year I was going to go, they moved to Memphis, so I covered the game there. So not many people can say they covered a pro game and Redskin game in Memphis, but I have. We saw Graceland before the game. It was cool. Okay, I think we were at Vanderbilt too, so it was a 1 o'clock game in preseason, which back then nobody did. Mojo Daddy, love that it's organic, talking about the left hand up thing, but they need to change the lyrics if we ever win another Super Bowl. I don't understand the lyrics anyway, so I don't really know what they're talking about. But okay. When did I start covering the team? Justin said, my first stories were in 83, but regularly not until 93. Now, in that 10 years in between, I was there here and there. I was a young reporter back then. So I go help out here and there. I covered the 91 Super Bowl run, and then 93 made it pretty regular. I've done a little bit of other things since then, but that's been the primary focus. And let's see. Nicholas is here. Thanks for coming. What is on deck for the Commanders this week? Man, let's hope nothing for once. It's Thanksgiving. Please don't have somebody sue again on a Thursday. Please don't do anything I just want to eat some turkey and watch some football. Is that too much to ask? I mean, the day I move, Snider says he might sell. Every time I do something, there's a lawsuit flying. Come on, guys, give us a break. It's Thanksgiving. Okay, which game is more winnable for Washington, the Cowboys or the Giants? Giants. I think they could beat them both times, but they probably won't. Be split. Let's see, Steve. Your Terps gave one hell of an effort this past week. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet because it's hard to watch college football. Basketball this time of year. Kind of busy, and they're usually playing Little Sisters of the Poor. But they actually did have a good one. They've gotten a bunch of transfers. They may actually be decent in this first year of a new coach. Mojo says Frank, Sonny, and Sam were magic in the booth, inside and out, man. All three guys were awesome. I've really enjoyed getting to know them all. Nicholas, watch the last video. How much do you think Payne should get per year? I think the number is going to be around 20. Because if, you got to start with the franchise tag, which I think is going to be around 18, but I haven't seen that one yet. They don't have it up yet. Anything less, he's not going to sign it. So, I mean, 20-ish, and they'll have the money on there. Like I said, we rotate people through all the time. So as I was talking earlier, thanks button is kind of like a tip jar. And most weeks I beg for me. But tonight, all the tip money will go to the food banks because it's Thanksgiving time and the holidays time. And we want to try and, help our fellow Americans out. I don't want to hear anything about people being hungry in this country. Yeah, it just seems criminal. So send your thanks money there. It's $2, $5, $10, whatever, and let's help feed some people. So you get this as a free content. I sound like PBS or something. By the way, I saw a PBS special the other day, a fundraiser with Prince concert. Prince is a PBS show now? I don't know what to say about that. Do I enjoy doing the radio hits or Twitter more? Asked Justin. Well, Twitter's easier because it's just me talking. The radio bits, things like the junkies, or a lot of different people call me. They're fine. I mean, I've done them for so long now; it's no stress, and they're fine. I don't get paid for them or anything. Wish I did. So I think get a gift card, a sandwich, something, but no. But I do it as a professional courtesy on there because I ask people to talk to me all the time. So it'd be kind of rude not to do it back. Okay, Sean, is there any similarities between Heineke and Wentz with the Doug and Jay? No. I mean, because you wonder, was Schrader the guy with the locker room wanted Doug? I wouldn't say that. Now, once Doug was in, everybody just wanted to keep that train moving and not distract. So, that from that standpoint, you weren't going to change horses once you got into the playoffs like that. But and Jay wasn't the most popular guy, but I don't think there was a locker room vibe for that. Steve, anywhere on how Fedarius Mathis is doing? I saw something the other day. He's the surgery went well. He seems to be doing well, and sometimes you wonder, gee, couldn't you come back and play? But that's how the rules are. So I think he'll be ready for next season on there. But man, where are you going to put him? We'll see what happens with Payne. Payne comes back. This team's got a good set of reserves too. Okay, KJ says you're with me on the keep that Bama wall intact. No reason to break it up. I don't either. You got something that works. Keep working it. Pay the money. Don't go look at somebody else and say, well, no, that's the problem. Keep your own. That's more important. CMY Eyes 35. Am I the only one who no longer gets excited for an 8-win season just to get back on that quarterback treadmill? Well, it beats 7 wins or 6 wins or 5. I don't know. I don't like watching them crash and burn. Those are long seasons, man. I was really thinking about retiring after this year because this team has been so mediocre. But now a lot of stuff has changed, including, a chance for a new owner. So I'm sticking around for a while, at least another year. We'll see. See how long God lets me stay. Obey the Lord, everyone. One of my favorite names. Hey, how you doing? Justin Gordon, what do you expect from Chase Young the rest of the year? So Rivera was talking about it today and said basically he would be on a snap count of, 15, 20 or so snaps when he starts to play. We're assuming Sunday, but just because they activated him to the 53 doesn't mean he will. They still got to show him that he can practice okay. It's not supposed to rain Wednesday or Thursday, so I think he can. I'm not even sure what they're going to do Thursday, but I think he could. By the end of the season, Rivera expects to see him play 25, 35 snaps a game. And we'll just see. My question is, the line is working so well. You wonder about how does it change things? Mojo asked, "What's a productive season for Chase?" Staying healthy, quite frankly. I mean, he's not going to be the difference maker for them. They're already playing really well. So just get back in there, try and be a better player, and set yourself up for next year. Taylor is Doug Flutie 2-0, says KJ. Yeah, there's a lot of comparisons there. I could say that. Who's going to win the NFC? Sean asked. It ain't going to be Minnesota. I don't think it's going to be Philly. Who's that leave? Tampa? No, I don't think it's going to be Tampa. It ain't going to be Seattle. So, Dallas maybe? I saw Jerry Jones says they might. Been so long. Not that excited for Chase Young. Well, obey the Lord. Let's see what he does. San Francisco, says Sean. That's a good one. Yeah, that could be it. Is Aaron Rodgers finished? Asked Steve. No. He may be finished in Green Bay before long if you don't quit, whining. But no, he still wants to play. You put enough good players around him, he'll be okay. I mean, he's not as good as he was, but which of us are? Hold on. All right, let's see. Hit the thanks button, by the way. We're trying to raise some money here for the food bank. So come on. I know you got some money. I don't, but you do. So let's go ahead and kick it in. I will match everything you guys send in. Don't send in $1,000. But let's try and raise some money for people. Think about it, man. It's the holidays coming up. So you get this for free, like TV. So just try and throw some money these guys' ways. Or if you want me to just have it, that's fine. Just designate it. But I doubt it. I'll just donate the money to the food bank. Food banks are really wonderful things. And I got laid off. I've never had to use one, luckily. But I got laid off 6 times in 7 years. And I can tell you, you think things are going fine, and life just punches you in the nose a lot. So it's about getting back up, as Rocky says, not about getting knocked down. And that's what food banks do, is help people get back up. Robert, what's going on with Cole Holcomb? Yeah, that foot injury just seems to keep going and going. The top of your foot is where all your nerves are. I learned this because I dropped a can on it once, and the doctor explained to me why it still hurt. You have a cluster of nerves on top of your foot, and it can be really painful, especially if you drop something on it. That's why. So I think that's what's happening. Jamin's taking over the middle, maybe, asked Robert. Yeah, Jamin's playing better. They say that they switched to a tough love style with him as coaches, and they feel he's responded partly because he has 2 military parents. Paul, is my wife a Washington fan? Of course she is. Is she a football fan? We don't talk a lot of football here at the house. But she knows who they are. So she asks me every time who won. A lot of times I go, they didn't win. All right, Mr. Keating. Ooh, all right, left hand up. Thank you. $5. All right, so we're going to feed somebody. Sean, thank you for sending in some money. We're going to, help. Just goes to help feed people. For one, it's not feeding me; it's for feeding other people. Let's see. KJ says, I think what Warren Sapp told the front office is finally coming to life. Well, he was around August, so listen. This front line's got tons of talent. Got 4 first rounders now. Chase is back. All right, Joe, throwing a couple of bucks. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. So I think Ron Puddingdale, I lost that one. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. They have a new defensive line coach that they promoted in mid-August when they fired the last one, which I remember saying I couldn't ever remember an assistant coach being fired in August. But, man, the next man up did a great job, and Kerrigan's there as an assistant. So maybe Kerrigan's showing him some things. I watched Montez Sweat laughing on the bench after a really big play, which kind of scares me a little when Montez laughs. But it just shows me they're having fun together, playing well together again. It's good to see. Justin, do I think Ron – let's go. There he goes. So he asked, did getting Del Rio off Twitter help focus more on the defense? I don't think one had anything to do with the other. But it's just one less distraction on everything. Hey, I mean, Trump's back on Twitter, they say. So, America's all about First Amendment freedoms, freedom of speech. So you can say what you want, but people, it seems like nobody can disagree in life anymore. It's one or the other. And I tell people go vote. You can vote for the other guy. I don't care. Just go vote. I don't care what you want. I know who I want. I'll vote for my guy. You vote for your guy. All right. Obey the Lord. Washington fans need the 49ers to lose tonight. Yeah, that's true. So, 49ers, go. Let's see. Sean said I graded the coaches better in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, because, when you win, that helps round up on my grades. And I still think Scott had some weird plays called. But I think they're learning more. The thing is, you shouldn't be learning about your team at midseason. You should understand your team in September, not November. And this staff, that's been their problem. They take too long to really figure it out. They should already know this stuff. I don't know. That's how I see it. Mojo, Ryan's presence on the sideline has been a blessing. Hey, listen, Ryan's a great guy. So, he's got to help. Because, he knows what he's doing. He had a great career. And he's a pretty honest, simple guy that, will relate to them well. And these guys know Ryan, and most of them played with him a couple years ago here. So I think it's a positive. Andoman 901, everyone's a Colt McCoy fan one more time. Yeah, I know. I saw today and I thought, God, Colt's still in the league. God bless. Logan Thomas looked much better, says Sean. Yeah, I was thinking that yesterday too. When he's good, when he's healthy, he's such a plus. So if you're doing fantasy ball in the next few weeks, you take Terry, you take Logan. That's who you really go with, more than Curtis. And Dotson just isn't getting enough chances to really do something. I said before the season, Dotson wouldn't catch 50 balls. Everybody thought I was nuts. It's not that he wasn't good enough. It's that I didn't think he'd get enough chances with this team. Paul said, Ron Rivera's in a good mood today. Yeah, well, winning kind of does that. And I think he feels better, too, after having the health issues. He's been through a lot. His mom passed away recently, too. All right. Keeping up with the Joneses. My kids hate the new name and refuse to wear Commanders gear. Do I keep up the fandom for the family? You think they'll come around? They're 5th and 8th graders. Ooh, 5th and 8th graders. Well, 8th graders are contrary anyway. I've had my kids grow up. 5th graders usually are still nice, but I don't know, man. I hate to tell you this. Maybe when they're in their 20s or 30s, but not in the short term. So let them walk naked then if they don't want to wear it. All right, Ryan Kerrigan, love the man. Hall of Famer, obey the Lord. I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Sean says, John Allen, best defensive lineman since? Wow. I don't know. That kind of question is hard for me to answer. I'd have to think about it. Michael says, my girls weren't contrary. They're very nice. I forgot. I think you know one of mine. Yeah, I have great daughters. I had 2 kids, never gave me a moment's trouble. Who can say that? And now I have 4 grandkids who give me plenty of trouble. but they're great kids too. I'm very lucky. Justin, what do you think of Gruden still doing media? Yeah, I admit it is odd. I've never seen a coach do that that I can remember. But he's funny and he does okay. And the key is 106.7 doesn't have games anymore, so they don't have Rivera. He goes to 100.3, big 100. So I guess they decided to stay with Jay. Jay makes good points. Mr. Key, which member of the D-line do you think finishes with the most sacks I guess, this season? John Allen. Career? Maybe Sweat. Bob Baker. Okay, Bob's been around. Okay, great to see you. What's my take on the Giants series? Do they split or get swept? I don't think they get swept. I think it's split. But if they could sweep them, then basically you could almost knock Giants out of the wild card and take that spot. That's 2 big games. And a row for Washington. I don't remember the last time I've seen that happen. But the Giants have a team in between. Washington has a bye. Kind of favors Washington a little there. Sean, I hate to go all the way back to Charles Mann, but Charles Mann was a very good lineman. Just a little short of the Hall of Fame, but was very good. I think he was Well, he's now third in sacks behind Dexter and Ryan. Do you have any stories about the Super Bowl parades? Asked Mojo. You know, people love the parades when the Caps won and then the Nats won. Well, guess what? Those were good weather months still. Man, the Redskins parades were in like late January back then, and they were freezing. And players would ride by on the buses, but they'd be inside the buses. So you can imagine, like, wave out a window. You couldn't see Jack. But they were like, I want to say there was 1 million people for one of them. And I remember leaving Redskin Park. It's funny, Redskin Park's like 2, 3 counties into Virginia, out in the suburbs near Dulles Airport. They're in Loudon, and then they went over, I forget the counties, Arlington and all that. So every time they were going down the road, you'd have to get met by a different police force along the way, and then DC cops. So I remember the downtown for the parade on there. But the crowd was great. The crowd was lit last time. I mean, if you're going to stand out in the cold for that kind of thing, Jack Daniels helps a little. Let's see. What the heck happened to MN? I don't know, Sean. I'm not sure who MN is. Let's see. Obey says Johnson's going to the Hall of Fame. I don't care. I bought his jersey. I don't know that he goes to the Hall of Fame. Well, let's see. Let's see how long the career goes. Let's see. The million was 1988. Well, yeah, okay. So, yeah, it was January of 88 on there. What's funny is I was back at Redskin Park the day after the Super Bowl, and Doug Williams was there. And Doug orders a pizza, and the pizza guy shows up and sees it's for Doug. He rips off the top of the box for the pizza, cardboard box, rips it off, and has Doug sign it right there. And Doug did. Doug's a great guy. Doug signs a pizza box, kid runs off. I don't even know if he got paid. So that was pretty wild. I had a lot of respect for Doug doing that. It was, he was tired and dealt a lot, and it's short, no problem. Jordan, thanks for the love. Sean, we should develop a name for the D-line. Now, let's just let this go for a little bit. I don't like to force names. Justin, do you think Jason Wright is truly empowered? Well, we don't know the team, but other than that, I think he can do what he feels best. Sean, I'm sorry, MN is Minnesota. All right, long day, Sean. Monday, I basically live a 36-hour Redskin Commander cycle from Sunday at noon to when I get done with this. I spent a lot of time so by the end of this 36 hours, I'm a little tired. Was Wilbur Marshall mean? Asked Steve. Intense. I mean, he wasn't mean. He didn't pull wings off flies or anything. So I wouldn't call him mean, but he was certainly intense. Bob, what's your best Rigo story? Does not include the 5 o'clock club. Oh, man, a lot of those do. A lot of those do. But Rigo is a cool guy in a bar, if I can do that. One time a guy was telling me he was talking badly about the team, and this guy comes up and pours a beer on his head, and it's Rigo. I heard so many Rigo stories like that. John Allen's having a all-pro year, and you say Payne is as well. Says keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah. Here's the thing. Allen makes the Pro Bowl partly because he's made a Pro Bowl, and that helps you make the next one. But for Payne to do it, you're asking voters to say 2 guys on right now a 500 team are your best 2 guys in the league. And if they're so good, why are they 500? It's a real rolling dynamic on these kind of things. But so that's why I think Payne will have a harder time making it. Maybe he deserves it, but voters don't want to go 2 guys on the same team. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you better be, 13-4 to get that kind of thing happen. 12 Cam's a big Colt McCoy fan. You weren't when he played for Washington. Okay. I like Colt. Good guy. All right. Obey Lord, you notice Diami Brown's family. I try to say Diami instead of Diami. Sorry, my inner redneck. Let's see. Sean says, Gator, he loved Wilbur. Poor guy can barely walk now. I mean, he was a great player. I mean, his speed side to side was like LeVar Arrington was like that, and there were a lot of similar, LeVar and Wilbur, both just intense guys, big hitters, lots of speed. There's a lot of ball players I know that are really broken up at this point. I mean, I'm 62 and I have knee problems, but, I went from playing ball, it's just getting old. Do I think they'll re-sign Payne? Asked Paul. Yeah, most people who watch the show, they watch about 15 minutes. So it's not unusual for me to get the same question for those of you who do hang in there longer. Yes. I rang the bell last time, so I got to do it again. I do think they'll re-sign Payne. I think they'll come up with the money and do it. Monty Coleman was a freak of nature, says Mojo. Yeah, I covered him the last 2-3 years, I think, really, of his career. And I saw him in the locker room a lot. Yeah, the dude was, amazing. Justin, do I still do DC tours? Yeah, tomorrow I'm actually at the Smithsonian taking a family around natural history and American history. Also Friday. Getting a little cold now outside. People, don't really want to do it as much. So usually tour guiding goes through Thanksgiving, and then we kind of pick it up again here and there, around the 1st of March. Hey, when it's 0 out, I really don't want to go either. So it's fine with me. Can the Commanders make me backup kicker? Asked Obey. Well, I don't know. They don't need a backup kicker right now. Joey Sly's slicing them through. Jumpy Gallows, freak of nature, says Michael. Oh, man, Jumpy was so strong. People were talking like he was a forklift or something, his body. He was unbelievable. Let's see. Jumpy Gallows reference. Yeah, I haven't talked about Jumpy in a long time. Yeah, didn't he have a son a few years ago cycle through? If I remember. Steve says he's a freak, just not in a good way. I don't know how you feel. Let's see. What we got? What time is it? All right. We still got a little bit. Thanks button. Hit the thanks button. We're trying to raise money for people to eat something besides crow for Thanksgiving, and the money I give, maybe to help them for Christmas too. We'll see. They can always use it, man. It's amazing. Did I talk to Andy Reid when he was in Washington? Oh yeah. Well, Andy comes by all the time. Oh yeah, I'm here. What do you want to know? I don't know, Andy. How did you pull off last night? Well, sorry, I'm sick. We kicked their butt. Well, I wouldn't call it a butt kicking, Andy. I mean, more like an escape from Alcatraz. Yeah. I mean, and sometimes Andy drives me nuts. For those of you who don't know the joke, if I wear red and the hat and all, people think I look like Andy Reid. I used to be bigger. I'm down about 40 pounds, so Andy's bigger than me now. And I only did that because I had a health scare. So, when you're laying on the floor and you can't move, to come to Jesus moment about eating. And I'm fine now. Thank you. A lot of you have weighed in on that. Thanks so much. Let's see. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be drafted soon, Sean? I didn't know that. I try to stay away from sons of players I've covered so I don't feel older than I already am. But one player was telling me he was worried about his grandparents once. And he said, they're getting old. And I said, how old are they? He goes, they're like 56 and 58. Blank you. Like, yeah, okay. Whatever. Happy Thanksgiving back to you, Eric. Appreciate it. I appreciate the team's not playing on Thanksgiving for once. I know you love it, but, it ruins my holiday. I once spent 5 straight years covering the D.C. Inter-High Turkey Day Classic when I was a young reporter. 5 straight years. I think the same team won almost every year, too. And I get home and everybody had already eaten. I'm getting to the age where I want to try and do a few holidays. James says, yeah, you see my wife back there? Great. Congrats on the new house. Yeah, thanks. And we're finally digging out from the boxes after we've lived here about 3 weeks now, and it's a beautiful place. I marvel I live here. But man, the boxes are just unending. The other day I put together 3 bookcases and 2 tables. I was tired. I can't do real work anymore. Who is better, 99 or 05 skins? 99. Keep it up. 99, definitely. Oh, John, thank you so much for stepping up and donating some good money for them. They'll definitely goes to help people. Next week, it's back to me. But for this, or I don't know, if we raise enough, maybe I'll just say screw me and we'll just keep raising money every week. Bob, Marvin Harrison's son is a stud wide receiver at Ohio State. Wow, okay. I don't get to watch a lot of college football. I wish it did, but Saturday's kind of a semi-free day. So I don't watch a lot. What's on the menu for Thanksgiving? Outlaw King asked. I don't know. I'm going to my daughter, so whatever she cooks, but I assume it's going to be turkey. And Sean says he challenges me to try turducken. I'd be up for it if somebody makes it. I haven't had it. Nah. I mean, I've had turkey, I've had duck, and I've had chicken. So what part scares me? Maybe we should make it a ham turducken or something. I like ham too. Matter of fact, I know ham is on the menu. My son-in-law's smoking one, so there you go. I know we have that. Meat, mashed potatoes, and gravy, are good. I like cornbread or corn pudding. Macaroni and cheese. They had a study. I did a video about this. People in Maryland said macaroni and cheese was their favorite side dish. I eat macaroni and cheese all the time too. So, I don't know. Do you know Thomas Jefferson's the one who brought macaroni and cheese from France to America and showed Americans how to make it? Thanksgiving was sort of created by George Washington, who said we should have a day of thanks. But it did not become an official holiday until Abraham Lincoln made it in 1863, also as a day of thanks, partly in reference to Gettysburg. And it became an official holiday then. So you're off because of Abe Lincoln and George Washington. Two greatest presidents ever. And who knew they'd both be there for Thanksgiving? Any John Madden stories? Asked Sean. I only met John once at a Super Bowl. It was pretty cool, I have to admit. It was pretty cool. So I just kind of listened to what he had to say. It was nothing special. Bob Baker, 99 was a great year. I think Bob was with us then. Yeah, just didn't get past Tampa. Bad luck there. Preston, loves the first takes. Well, thank you. Is Washington legitimate? I think they're a legitimate wild card contender, but I don't think they can catch up for the division title. Favorite Thanksgiving dessert, pumpkin pie. Bought them at Costco today. Costco has $5 pumpkin pies. I swear to God, they're like this. And then I was over at Target to get something, and they had pumpkin pies for $5 that were like this. So, man, it was nuts at Costco today, too. I got an apple, too. I like apple pie just as much. But pumpkin this time of year I go for. But overall, apple's my favorite. Let's see. Bob says, thanks for the history stuff. Appreciate it. James, who is Matt from Seasons of Discontent? How do we know each other? Okay. So Matt lived next to my in-laws, and he's only a couple years older than my daughters. So he would be there. And so, we knew his family. He'd be at all the parties. So I've known Matt since he was literally 5 years old. And he just turned 40. So, and he loves to do the tech stuff, and he understands how to do seasons. He loves doing the show. So it's the Matt and Rick show more than anything. Seasons of Discontent should be up now. So when you're done with this, look over on YouTube, and Seasons of Discontent is a 15-minute show we do Mondays and Thursdays. We just recorded it before I came on to do this. So Matt just put it up. And we talk about a lot of stuff. And Matt talks about betting. Today was the first day you could legally bet mobile betting in Maryland. So Matt did it. He bet $10 on somebody. I think it's wrong, and I'm never going to do it, but that's another discussion. Is there anything better than Madden Summerall calling Washington Dallas games? Well, no. The Clint Longwood game, though, sucked. But I was like 14 when that happened. That ruined everybody's Thanksgiving when Clint Longwood won that. Stole that game. The Commanders make the playoffs. Will I be there? Well, if it's in Washington, I'll be there. But no one pays me to travel anymore, so I doubt I go. But we'll see. Do I think RG3 would have been a good quarterback if not hurt? Asked Paul. That's a good question because it wasn't all physical. There was also some emotional or, let's just say egotistic problems with Robert. But Robert had tons of talent, man. No doubt of that. Michael says, RG3 takes a lot of guff from fans that were beyond his control or Shanahan's. I think Shanahan and Robert both share some of the problem there. They couldn't get along, and they should have. James, love Seasons of Discontent. Thanks. You're the guy who's been watching it. I wonder. We do it on audio, too. If you want to go to Spotify or something, you can listen to the podcast. Well, why listen to it when you can see us do it on YouTube? Justin, do you think there's any way Snider weasels out of this? I don't think so. I think he'd like to, but I don't think he can because who's going to go to the games and do any of this? Who's going to put up a new stadium for this? The NFL is not going to put up with this. So, I bet you read a story at one time that says that he's thinking of not doing it after all, but I know. Time's gone. Any idea what happened to Albert Connell or James Thrash? Thrash works for the NFL, and he's the guy that reviews sanctions against players. He's like the appeals judge instead of Goodell. Haven't seen AC in a while. He was coaching a little high school ball years ago. I haven't seen him. Paul, do I think Big Brown would have won the Triple Crown if he didn't get hurt? Whew, Big Brown was awful good. For those of you, he was a Triple Crown horse. We call him a UPS guy. But Big Brown was really a good horse. I liked him a lot. Michael, Thrash was a good player. You know, Thrash was not going to make the team. But then he ran a kickoff back for a touchdown. And the next week, he ran another kickoff back for a touchdown. And suddenly, James Thrash made the team. And he was in the NFL about 10 years overall. And hard work, a perfect example of a borderline player who busted his butt and made the NFL for a long time. I very much admired that out of him. He wasn't the greatest player, but he gave you 150%. And that's how he made the NFL. My favorite Christmas song, Mojo Daddy said. Gosh, I don't know. Grandma got run over by a reindeer? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. There's so many great ones. It sure isn't, oh, I went for Christmas as you. Oh, my God. I think Mariah must live on a beach house in Malibu off that royalties alone. I can't take it anymore. But yet, Wash FM here in Washington, 97.1, started playing Christmas music the other day. And I thought, oh, no, 6 weeks of nonstop Christmas music. And then I listened to 2-3 songs, sang along with Michael Jackson's. And, you know, but I guess after the last 2-3 years, we could all use a little Christmas cheer. Paul, let's see. I bet the Lord, if RG3 kept going crazy, would going to a conference championship. You know, if he hadn't got hurt, maybe. Sean, do I think Patterson's emergence as a returner hurts Brian's chances at the Hall of Fame? No, I think it actually worked the other way. It would just make people realize that returners are more valuable. I've always said B. Mitch deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Bob loved Thrash. Yeah, he was a great guy. I really enjoyed spending time with him. Justin, does the congressional investigation go away come January? Yes, but here's my thing. Why don't you release the findings before then? The Democrats still control the committee. Release the findings. If they found that there was nothing wrong, then Dan Snyder deserves that. If they find that Dan Snyder was compliant in a lot of things, then the fans deserve to know that. You spend all this time and money as representative of the people. Do your job. Release the report, whatever it says. They can do that. Sean, you've learned the alternative version of Jingle Bells, which I started to sing to my grandson last night, as he's 2, and he can sing Jingle Bells. And I was like, no, there's another way. And then his mother made me stop. So my daughters never let me have any fun with the kids anymore. But my other grandson knows the lyrics. All right, Rahelia Tamayo talks about the golden era of the Redskins. George Allen, Joe Gibbs. Yeah, pretty much. That in the 37 to 45 era when they won a couple of championships, but nobody's around from that. So, yeah, Allen and Gibbs. Who knew that's all we'd get? You just watch the 70s football? Wow, okay. I would watch I don't know if I could watch this team. You know, Allen years were good, but they were seldom great, but they were good consistently. He was a good coach. How Bruce Allen came from him, who knows? Bob says, does a new stadium mean a new practice facility? Yeah, I think they're tied there. They could stay in Ashburn if the stadium is in Virginia, but I think they want a new building and all those things too. Let's see. Steve said he had a tough time with Nerve, Turner. He was always a Cowboys fan to me. You know, when Norv came, there was this big thing about Norv was a Cowboys plant here to destroy the Redskins. Oh, come on, man. That's beyond paranoid. I mean, he's the coach of this team. You think he'd want this team to do well and beat his old team. Sean, Brad Johnson's kids are playing in college. Yeah. Brad Johnson can make all those trick shots on TV. Brad was a fun guy. I always liked him. Let's see. Oh, somebody's a YouTube. Brad's a YouTube star, or his kids are one of them. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Justin, why do you think there's only one minority major owner in the majors for pro sports? Michael Jordan. Oh, I didn't know that. Really? There's only one minority owner of all the 4 leagues? Okay. I do think the NFL is trying. That's one reason they wanted Byron Allen to go in Denver. You know, they went to him and said, bid for it. And if you don't get this one, look for the next one. Anyone else named Norval? Asked Michael. Not that I know of. It's the only one I ever knew. Norv was one of a kind. Then we got about 10 minutes to go. If you're cycling in lately in the show, please hit the thanks button. All money tonight goes to the food banks of Southern Maryland, so I can feed my fellow rednecks. We're going to donate the money to the food bank. I don't know if it helps them for Thanksgiving, but it will help them for Christmas. I don't know how fast they turn around money, but I can literally flip it over tonight. They do it all online now. You don't have to write a check anymore. So, or donate to your local food bank or whatever charity. There's no shortage of charities and people who need help. So I like to think this time of year that we all try to do a little more. Why did George Preston Marshall sell the Redskins? Asked Paul. Well, largely because he was near death. So he turned it over, and Edward Bennett Williams ran the team for a few years and then oversaw the sale. But it was basically the end of life. Is there any? Let's see. Brad's got 2 sons at Texas A&M. Oh, okay, says Bob. So those are good. All right, didn't know about that. Paul, have you ever met the Sniders, and what was the interaction? Well, sure. I used to talk to Dan all the time when he first took the team. He came over to me, gave me a cell number. We talked, offered me a ride back from Atlanta on his plane, after the owners approved him, but I couldn't take him up on it. I can't say that our interactions have been great because Dan thinks that the media should speak for him, and he hates us calling him Dan. He makes everybody call him Mr. Snider. But you may notice that the media calls him Dan because I'm under no obligation, and I'm older than he is. So the day that he calls me Mr. Snider, because I'm his elder, is the day I'll consider calling him Mr. Snider. But that ain't happening on either way, and I'm fine with that. When Dan Snider leaves, I no longer have to think about him. I don't really spend my days thinking about him anyway. He's got his life, I got mine. So I'm sure he doesn't think much about me either. So, but you get Dan. I will say this about Dan. I very much believe he's an introvert, and he's uncomfortable in conversations he can't control. Let's see. Favorite sports movie? Field of Dreams, Sean. Saw it a couple months after my dad died. My dad was a baseball guy. Made me cry. So I love Field of Dreams. But I think there's so many good ones. Rockies, or the Rocky movies. My first date with my wife, we went to the first Rocky movie. And she's not a boxing fan per se, but she loves Rocky movies too. We do watch them. Who was the worst as an owner, Snider or Marshall? Well, ask Steve. I wasn't around for Marshall, except as a kid. But I don't know. There's a lot of similarities between the two. I thought about writing a book about the 3+ owners of this team: Snider, George Preston Marshall, and Cook. Plus, Edward Bennett Williams ran the team for a number of years as sort of the owner. So really 4 guys. And Edward Bennett Williams is a fascinating guy. If you want to read about him, there's a book called The Man to See, because he was a lawyer in D.C. and knew everybody and everything. He was a really interesting guy, long since dead. 76, Michael asked. Let's see. No, 77 was the first Rocky movie. Steve Spurrier was the worst, Daniel. The worst coach? No, I'd say Zorn was the worst coach. I liked him a little more than Steve, but Zorn was totally unprepared. Let's see. Captain Vintage, probably. Do we want a Washington fan as a new owner, or just some random guy with money? Well, I mean, listen, you guys thought Dan Snider was a Washington fan. Look how that turned out. I want somebody that will invest in the team, knows how to pick a good staff, and let them do what they do. That's what Cook did. And worry about the many other things that this team has to do with marketing, stadiums, all that stuff. Commanders come back to RFK, ask Fazel. I give it a puncher's chance. If Jeff Bezos gets this team, I don't think DC would turn him down. I know there's a lot of red tape, but so what? Daniel says, Snider tried to turn the team into a sideshow of famous athletes. Yeah, because he didn't know any better. He thought he could buy a victory, and you can't buy a Super Bowl. You just can't. Sean, so Rocky and Star Wars came out the same year? Yeah, man, movies were big back then. Big crowds, you get in line. It was a show. I was a teenager. We used to go to them all. Did I ever go to a Grateful Dead concert? No, I did not do that, Mojo. I wasn't really a big Deadhead on there. Let's see. Now, I guess I kind of think the craziest ones. I like Boston and Frampton and Prince, and I did a lot of the hard rock way back in the day. Saw it. No, I didn't see that one. Okay, let's see. Daniel, I would have loved to have gone to a Doobie Brothers concert. Yeah, I remember. I didn't go to theirs, but I've been to similar ones like that. Elton John did a great concert the last time I saw him about 5 years ago. His farewell tour, which is still going on, but Elton John was a great entertainer. I saw him in around 1979, 80, and I've seen him over the years. He was good. Phil Collins, when he was younger, was one of the best concerts I ever saw. Phil Collins was awesome on there. And I saw him about 5 years ago, and his health issues are really trouble now. It was really evident, but great entertainer. Steve, let's see. Oh, Grateful Dead was the worst show you ever went to? Okay. I just really wasn't a Deadhead. Do we draft another quarterback? Asked Captain Vintage. Or finally just work what we have? Show me who's on the board. But I say Hal's the guy you should be looking at next. Do I think Snider would be a better baseball owner than football? Asked Paul. I don't think that matters. I don't think he cares what sport it is. To him, it's a marketing team. Daniel, so he agrees the ones people Elton John, Phil Collins were great. Let's see, Blue Oyster Cult. Oh, Bob went to that one. Ritchie Coliseum, which is at Maryland. I'll bet that was a good one. Sean saw the Stones twice. I wasn't a big Stones guy either. Eagles, I saw the Eagles several times. Neil Young didn't. I wish I had seen Neil Young. Just off the Alabama songs. Sweet Home Alabama, Neil Young. Wish I'd seen that. So yeah, we used to go to concerts a lot when I was younger. I haven't been to one in a few years, but maybe we'll go back soon. Saw Bon Jovi a few years ago. They were good. BOC, he's good. Let's see. Baked or fried turkey, asked Paul. Baked. Fried turkey's bad for you. Too much oil, man. Don't try and kill yourself. Daniel Chikosi and Louis Prima. I didn't see that one. I saw Reba with oh, come on, the two guys that sing with her. Now I can't remember. Brooks and Dunn. Oh, that was a good show. Saw well, I forget that. Say, Bob, it's a great show, but standing only. Yeah. I was good at standing only concerts years ago, but not now. Getting old. My daughters go to see Hanson whenever they're in town. And now I laugh that Hanson is like 40, the youngest one. I mean, the oldest one. They have like 12 kids. My daughters both would have married Hanson brothers if they could have back in. I took my daughters to go see a Hanson concert. My ears rang for 2 days. There's so much screaming. We went to Meriwether Post, I think it was. No, Nissan Pavilion. That's where we were. Oh, man, that was great. I took them to see NSYNC at RFK. That was nuts. So I know a little bit about boy bands. When you have daughters, that's what happens. Do I want Ron Rivera to stay on and coach for new owner buys? Asked Paul. Sure. I like Ron personally. Sean, have a great turkey day. Appreciate it. Yep, stuffing. There's another one. Stuffing. I like stuffing. I'll even go with stuffing and pineapples once in a while. It's a little weird, but for Thanksgiving, why not? Ooh, it's 9 o'clock already. Ozfest. Man, Daniel, I haven't thought of Ozfest in forever. But it used to be Nissan Pavilion. What is it now? I forget. They changed names so much. Jiffy Lube, is it still that? One place I've never been to is the one up by the Beltway, the classy place, outside Pavilion. Now I can't remember the name. It's tired. I'm getting tired. I can't remember names. The real fancy place in Virginia, right where the Dulles Toll Road meets. Meriwether. Is that what it is? Okay. Meriwether Post Pavilion. Okay. Never been there. Let's see. I was at Meriwether Post home, which is called Hillwood in D.C. That's a cool place to go visit. Wolf Trap. That's it. Wolf Trap. Thank you. I've never been there. So there's lots of stuff. One of the things I'm going to go see is I've learned that there's a tree if we can relate it to this. That's the grandson of the tree that Sir Isaac Newton sat under when he got hit by the apple. And it's in DC. They cloned that tree, and then this tree is a clone of that clone. So 2 clones down, but I guess it's like the grandson tree. That's in DC by an embassy. I'm going to go by and see that soon. The tree of Sir Isaac Newton, that's almost 400 years ago. That's pretty amazing. Let's see. Keeping Up with Joneses. Ask about the Sunday Ticket. I've never been involved in that. On there. Favorite Christmas food? Gingerbread man. Paul. I like gingerbread man. I don't get to eat them much. But like I said, every time I buy the head off of a gingerbread man, an angel gets its wings. So just trying to help out Clarence and all the other guys. Oh, by the way, have you seen the new movie Christmas Story, where Ralphie's now like 40 or so? It came out last week on HBO Max. And if Christmas Story was a 10, this one's a 5. And not to say that it's a bad movie, and it has a lot of wink winks to the old one, but not all of them. And the original was a great one. Ralphie, I can't move my arms. Stick your tongue on the pole. All these things. The new one, but it was fun to see it. So if you go on HBO, you can see the new Christmas Story. Let's see. Peter Billingsley is old. Yeah, everybody's getting old. Man, what's going on with that? I don't recommend it. Getting old sucks. I don't recommend it. As someone who just had another tooth pulled and all that. Luckily, it wasn't a front one. I still have my front teeth. Even with the lighting, you can kind of see them. The new lighting, I don't look like dark shadows all the time. I look younger. I could pass for 61 now. Honey glazed skin. That's the secret. Just rub the donuts on it instead of eating them. All right, we're about done. Hey, last call for donations to the food bank. Try and hit them in so we can get a few people fed. And can you imagine not having something to eat on that? And then the next thing is going to be the toy drives for Christmas. Can you imagine being a kid and not get something for Christmas? At least one thing. My parents both grew up really poor. And my mom would tell me the stories about in D.C., the relief, they call them relief people, charity, would come around and give you an orange on Christmas. And that's all you got was that orange for Christmas. And can you imagine? So that was like one of my parents. The other one was even worse off. So Great Depression kids. So let's not do that anymore. Let's try and give people something. I like to buy sports stuff for the toy giveaways. That way kids, if you got a basketball, you can always play a game, no matter what. So that'll be the next thing we talk about. I guess I won't collect any money. I'll bet you guys keep donating to charity, and we'll do that on there. Let's see. Nice office. Thanks, Moss. It's going to look even better when I'm done. See, right behind me is my Lincoln Memorial marble statue gave me. And then somebody gave me the John Wilkes Booth bobblehead. You want to see that one? Let me get that one real quick. There he is. Should be my new thing. What's on Rick's shelf? John Wilkes Booth, were you a bad boy? Why did you shoot Abraham Lincoln? What do you mean you don't know? Anyway, I'm related to John Wilkes Booth on my mother's side, maternal line. So I do John Wilkes Booth store tours and all. No, I don't think he did the right thing. So, but somebody made a bobblehead of him. So you can go to Ford's Theater. It's still open. You can see it look just like that night. It's a really great thing. And it's free. Part of your name. So come to Washington. You can see these things on there. Okay, I won't turn my back on you, but we'll see. Yeah, every week maybe I'll pull something off. The picture right there is me as my Scottish lord. I am a Scottish lord. That'll get me a drink of water free, but I do have some of that. Is he my American cousin, Steve? Woo, good one. That was a good one. That's the play that they were showing when Lincoln was shot. So for those of you who don't know. So like that one. Moss says, one day you can get down there. Half of all Americans will visit Washington, D.C. in their lifetime. So come on down. This year, we're starting to see tourists back in the last couple months. It's been kind of quiet all year with the COVID thing, but let's just hope that's about over with. And let's see. Saw Nats game at RFK. I liked RFK for baseball. It was a good It was really built for baseball, um, more than football. It was the last multi-purpose, first of the multi-purpose stadiums. It's the last one still standing. If you go to Twitter, I think it's called Farewell RFK. I think is the title, where the DC government has a Twitter feed and they show stuff regularly about what's going on in RFK. Basically, the asbestos is so bad that they can't blow up the stadium because then you'd have a radiation cloud over the city. So they're having to destroy and demolish it slowly. So it's going to take about another year to get rid of RFK. Let's see. Yeah, Michael's got a good joke too. Okay. USA tied on a bad penalty. Oh, okay. I didn't get to watch any of that today. I had to do stuff. The World Cup in November, not on my schedule. In December, not on my schedule. And all this. So it's hard enough. There's too much going on. Paul, it's Dr. Mudd's house in Southern Maryland. Yeah, it was about 10 minutes before I moved. It's in Waldorf, and you can go on tours on the weekend. This time of year, they have a Christmas tour on weekends there at the house. A little creepy there at times, but it's just like it was then. How long do I think it'll take Young to get in the swing of things? Quentin, I'm not sure, but I just think this year is just about trying to get back to being a ball player again. And whatever he does is a bonus. But by next year, he needs to be back to where he was, or else that pick just didn't work out. And sometimes they don't work out. I mean, look at RG3, second pick overall, just didn't work out because of injuries, among other things. So it happens. Sucks, but it happens on this. Let's see. 908. Okay, I'm losing steam here. I'm losing sleep too. Let's see. There's a few of you here. Last questions, and we'll hit it. 2 or 3 weeks, get back in the swing of things, Daniel. Could be. I mean, who knows? Maybe he balls out the first game. I haven't seen him play in a year. I've seen him over on the practice field and kind of standing there, and physically he looks great, but they just, how it is with surgeries. If you've ever had one, you got to watch out for a little while. I had open heart surgery in 2004, and but 6 months later, I saw Trevor Maddich at something, and Trevor didn't know what happened, and he lightly punched me in my chest, saying hi. Man, did that hurt! But it wasn't his fault. Between the uprights is here. Okay, thank you. Thanks for happy Thanksgiving. Favorite way to make a day after Thanksgiving turkey sandwich? Lots of mayo. Just put it on bread. I don't do bacon anymore. Too bad for you. Too much chemicals. Just mayo, a couple pieces of bread. I use wheat bread because I'm a diabetic. I have no fun anymore. And that's all you got to do. I like it cold, the turkey cold. Okay, Paul, this is Wentz's last season? Yeah, I would. I mean, don't say forever because something can happen. He could be playing. Maybe he leads them to the playoffs and then he's back. I mean, you just never know, but the odds are he will not. But I looked at his cap number next year is $26 million, but they can cut him and it's zero because it's the end of the contract that he signed elsewhere in Philly. So there'd be no cap hit. So we'll see. Maybe they bring him. I don't think they bring him back knowing that to training camp and then cut him. I don't think they do that on there. All right, last call. Anybody want to throw in some money for the food bag? Got a couple last minutes, and then we're going to move on. But we've had a decent night. You guys were great. Some of you really stepped up, and I do appreciate it. There'll be rolls for everybody or whatever. Southern Maryland Food Bank, where I live, and they just do tremendous work. It's amazing how many people are fed. It's amazing how many people need it. And the Fed's trying to wreck the economy so that we get inflation under control. And I don't understand how putting people out of work makes things better. That's why they're the government and I'm not. I don't know if having been laid off 6 times in my life in 7 years, I can tell you it sucks. But still here. But I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Last pink slip I got, I just kind of laughed when I was given 8 hours notice. Do I use the Cash App? Yeah, the PayPal, it's on there. Venmo is there, but I don't know what they are. I'll have to text you on that one, Daniel. Paul says happy Thanksgiving. So yeah, Thanksgiving for me, I don't have to be anywhere until 1 o'clock, I understand. So I have the morning. Maybe I'll turn on a little bit of a parade, sit down in the living room and put together more furniture my wife has bought for our new house. I'm so tired putting together things. I have more cardboard than you believe. I keep taking them to the recycling center and they keep saying, what are you buying? You know, on there. All right. Well, I guess we're about done. I know you guys love the bell. Bellsy, I found you. Found the whiteboard, my flashing light. I'm going to rearrange it still a little more, and you'll see more of my stuff behind me and coming up. And otherwise, I think we are done. Thank you so much for coming. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. What do you think, John Wilkes-Boo? Thanksgiving's to die for? Ooh, that's not good. Yeah. What about you, Andy? Do you want to do it? Oh, happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to eat it all. Yeah, you probably will. Get in line before Andy. Don't get behind Andy after the line on there. And otherwise, I was trying to think what else I got to say. Daily shows are up every day. Around 7 a.m., 7 p.m. We'll be doing the shows every day. And I'll have something up for Thanksgiving because, unfortunately, a lot of people, somebody said, you don't do holidays, do you? Sure, there's a lot of people who don't have anywhere to go or do. So if I give you 2 minutes of fun, but I don't know. I'll watch a little bit of football. I'm going to my daughter's and she doesn't have TV anymore. She has like app streams or something. So I can't watch any games over there. Oh, God, you wouldn't know they're my daughters on this. They don't know anything about sports. Matter of fact, when they were teenagers dating, I said, here's a question to ask any boy who wants you to go out and see if he's a truthful person or not. Ask him to explain cover 2 to you. If he tries, he's a liar. Skip it. So, all right. Oh, I guess I do look that bad. My eyes look tired. So thank you all. And let's see, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? No, tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Tomorrow's Tuesday. Okay, so I have stuff up on there. And I don't know what else I got to do. It's just that kind of crazy around here lately. So thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. Appreciate the donations to the food bank. And I'll see you again next Monday, 8 to 9, maybe after another victory. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming. You can watch all of this on replay. If you caught it late, you can go back. They'll be posted there in just a few minutes. So thank you all so much. Thanks, Daniel, Ulysses, and Moss, and Daniel, and again, and Ulysses again. You guys are the last two there, I guess. And I'll see everybody. Thanks. Bye.